Rome is a city full of history going back more than 2,000 years. It's also a city full of trash that has to go somewhere. Now, much of it is heading to a spot right next to a famous historical site called Hadrian's Villa. As Adrian Pizzey reports, Italians are making a big stink over it.
In the 2nd century AD, the Emperor Hadrian built this to escape the foul air of Rome. 18 centuries later, the stench is about to be brought here. City officials issued a form of imperial decree, declared an emergency to establish a landfill within sniffing distance of his home. The neighbors, of course, object. But this is more than just another case of not in my backyard. This backyard happens to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and some of the neighbors are unique as well. Prince Urbano Riario Sforza Barberini Colonna de Sciara is an actor and an environmentalist.
This is one of the most precious areas of the entire world from an archaeological point of view. And it would be completely destroyed by this rubbish dump. It's like putting rubbish in the pyramids.
Described as perhaps the most complex and important example of Roman architecture that has survived to the present day, the 250-acre site is bigger than the more famous Pompeii. The original complex had 30 buildings, including palaces, baths, a theater, temples, and libraries. The dump site will eventually cover more than 400 acres. And it's a mere 800 yards upwind from Hadrian's Villa, which is still used for summer theater productions.
And probably all the international guests and everybody will have to have a mask if the wind blows in that direction.
The garbage trucks are scheduled to start arriving in the new year, unless the prince and his neighbors can prevail. In some ways, history is on their side. Prince Urbano is a descendant of Pope Urban VIII, whose 17th century pontificate included going to war with Venice and 2 other city-states, as well as Tuscany. Officials in charge of the dump site declined to be interviewed. The prince says there's a good reason for that.
They say there is an emergency, and so we have to put it somewhere. That's the excuse. The reality is that rubbish, it's a big, big, big business. You make a lot of money.
The city claims to recycle, but Italy's leading environmental group says up to 80% of Rome's garbage still ends up in landfills. That lack of environmental concern has even turned an ancient symbol into a modern joke. Everything official in Rome bears the initials SPQR, short for Senatus Populusque Romanus, the Senate and People of Rome. Today, SPQR is often translated as Sono porci questi Romani. They are pigs, these Romans. It wasn't always that way. Ancient Romans had clean water, for example, carried by aqueducts that still function. This one, the Aqua Vergine, is linked to famous Roman fountains, but its source is in the porous soil under the future landfill site and risks being polluted. A huge swathe of biological farmlands will also be endangered. The Enna family has been producing some of Italy's finest natural pecorino cheese here for 3 generations. We've invested everything in this place, Elisa Enna says. This is our only work, the kind of work that is being abandoned in Italy. They can't go to the lengths Hadrian did to escape Rome's garbage, but his neighbors think neither they nor anyone else should bow to a modern imperial decree.
This is not acceptable for me, and I hope also for you.
Alan Pizzey, CBS News, Hadrian's Villa.